Some people are born feeling everything. They enter this world with eyes that see too deep, with hearts that carry burdens no one else can name. From an early age, they were the ones who noticed the silence behind the smiles, the sadness in someone's laugh, the energy in a room before a single word was spoken. These are the chosen ones, not because they are superior, but because they are sensitive in a way the world rarely understands. But sensitivity, when left unprotected, becomes a wound, and over time that wound finds a voice, not through words but through the body. If you are one of the chosen, you may have already asked yourself, why does my body betray me when all I try to do is help? Why am I the one who gets sick? Why do I feel like I'm falling apart while trying to hold everyone else together? The answer may not lie in a diagnosis. It may not be in your DNA or in any test results. The answer may lie in the sacred language of your soul, whispering through the ache in your joints, the inflammation in your gut, the fatigue that refuses to leave. Because autoimmune disease is not random. It's a signal. It's not your enemy. It's your body's final attempt to tell the truth you've been avoiding. Something must change. This video is not just about illness. It's about meaning. It's about uncovering what the body is trying to say when the soul has been silenced. It's about recognizing that your pain may not be a punishment, but a portal, and that through it, you're being called into a deeper version of yourself. A version where you're no longer just carrying others, you're finally listening to you. If this message speaks to something inside you, I invite you to type 77 in the comments. Not for attention, but as a soul signal, a way to tell the universe, I'm listening now. And if you believe this video can be a light for others walking through silent pain, please consider offering a super thanks. Your support is how we reach the people who feel invisible. Now, let's begin to remember the language your body has been speaking all along. You feel too much, and your body knows it. Chosen ones don't just feel, they absorb. You don't merely sympathize with others, you merge. You take on their grief, their fear, their unspoken anger. You walk into a space and feel everything before anyone says anything. It's a gift, yes, but it's a dangerous one when you don't know how to protect it. Because emotion, energy, tension, none of it evaporates. When not expressed, it stores. And in the chosen ones, it stores inside the body. Your immune system isn't just fighting bacteria. It's fighting memory. It's fighting energy. It's responding to years of repressed tears, swallowed words, silenced instincts. Every time you said, I'm fine, when you weren't. Every time you made peace to avoid conflict. Every time you ignored your own body to comfort someone else's, your nervous system took a note. And eventually it had to speak. Through rashes, through fatigue, through inflammation, through your body turning on itself. Not out of cruelty, but out of desperation. Autoimmune disease is not just biological, it is energetic rebellion. It's your body screaming what your soul was never allowed to say. This is too much. This is not mine. I cannot hold it anymore. And maybe for the first time, you are being asked to choose yourself, to feel your feelings before they harden into physical form, to stop rescuing others at the cost of betraying yourself. Sensitivity is not weakness, but unprotected sensitivity is self-destruction. You don't need to stop feeling, you need to stop carrying, because your body knows what your mind has tried to forget. And if you don't listen to its whispers, it will have no choice but to scream. When the soul whispers, the body screams. There's a moment in every chosen one's life when the breakdown begins, not externally but internally, when the soul has spoken softly for too long and silence becomes dangerous. It begins as exhaustion, a subtle ache, a restless night, but then it builds into inflammation, into pain, into diagnosis. The body is not betraying you. It's translating what your soul can no longer hold in silence. Your soul has tried to speak through dreams, through signs, through gut instincts you ignored for the sake of being reasonable. It's tried to tell you, this life you're living isn't aligned. This relationship is costing too much. This pace is not sustainable. But the world doesn't teach you to honor whispers. It teaches you to honor productivity, achievement, appearance. And so the soul gets overridden, until the only way left to communicate is through the body. An autoimmune flare is not an accident. It's the soul demanding, stop, listen, heal. It is the inner world crying out, I matter too, And this cry is not to punish, it's to awaken. Because what good is spiritual power if you abandon yourself? What good is compassion if it never extends to your own being? The chosen are not meant to burn out saving others. They are meant to illuminate from within. If your body is screaming, ask yourself, what has my soul been trying to say that I keep avoiding? What truth are you running from under the mask of kindness? What dream have you silenced under the weight of responsibility? Your symptoms are not random, they are spiritual transcripts. And until you read them, the body will keep writing louder and louder. You became the safe space, but at what cost? You are the one everyone turns to when they fall apart. The healer, the empath, the counselor, the one who always knows what to say even when your own heart is breaking. You became the safe space. But somewhere along the way, you forgot to create a safe space for yourself. The chosen ones often inherit invisible roles: caretaker, peacekeeper, emotional container. But what no one tells you is that holding space for others without release becomes a prison of your own making. You've said it's okay, even when it wasn't. You've smiled through grief, comforted through pain, nodded through rage, and your body has held every unspoken emotion like a vault with no key. Autoimmune disease often begins when self-abandonment becomes chronic, when giving becomes a pattern and receiving becomes foreign, when helping becomes a substitute for healing. And so your immune system begins to do the only thing it knows: defend, attack, react. Not because it's malfunctioning, but because it's overwhelmed. Because it was never meant to do this alone. It's not your fault. You were praised for being strong, for being dependable, for being light in everyone else's storm. But strength without rest becomes collapse. Light without boundaries becomes burnout. And love without self-inclusion becomes martyrdom. You can still be a safe space, but you must be safe for you first. Your body is asking for what you so generously give to others: compassion, attention, permission to break. Healing doesn't begin with another therapy session or one more act of service. It begins when you turn your presence inward and finally say to yourself, you're allowed to rest, you're allowed to feel, you're allowed to heal. Autoimmunity, the battle you didn't start. Autoimmune disease is a war that takes place within your own body, your cells attacking themselves, your systems misfiring, your strength turning inward. But here's the truth few dare to say: this battle didn't start in your bloodstream. It started in your boundaries. It started the moment you were taught that saying no was selfish, that putting others first made you good, that pleasing others meant you were worthy of love. The chosen are rarely raised in environments that teach emotional safety. Instead, they learn early to become what others need. And over time, their inner compass, what they love, what they want, what they need, gets overwritten by a survival script: be useful or be invisible. And so they give, they sacrifice, they suppress, and the immune system, ever vigilant, adapts. It goes into high alert, misreading emotional threats as physical ones. The line between me and not me blurs. The body no longer knows what to protect and what to attack. This is not a failure of biology. It's a spiritual protest. Your body is not punishing you. It's trying to restore the borders your soul was never taught to honor. Every flare-up is a cry for sovereignty. Every symptom is a signal. You are worth defending, but not at the cost of self-destruction. You did not choose this war, but you can choose how it ends. And it ends not through more punishment or more pushing. It ends with presence, with listening, with radical truth-telling, with reclaiming the space inside your own skin. The war ends when the body is no longer the battlefield for emotions left unheard. Your pain is a portal, not a curse. Pain has a way of silencing everything else. It pulls your attention inward, narrows your focus to the now, demands presence when your mind would rather escape. But what if that's the point? What if pain is not the punishment, but the portal? So many of the chosen try to run from their bodies, treating symptoms like enemies, treating rest like weakness. But your body is not your enemy, it is your oracle. It speaks in the only language it knows: sensation. Pain is not random, it is information. It is the invitation to return, because underneath the inflammation is a story. Under the fatigue is a truth. Beneath the diagnosis is an opportunity not to fix what's broken, but to finally meet what's been neglected. To slow down, to strip away false identities, to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. In spiritual traditions around the world, pain is seen not as something to escape, but as the threshold to awakening. The wound is the initiation. The breakdown is the gateway. In the stillness that illness demands, many begin to hear their soul for the first time. And what it says is this: you are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. So don't rush to escape the pain. Sit with it. Listen to it. Let it speak. Because if you stay long enough, you'll realize the pain was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to deliver you to yourself. You were never meant to carry it all alone. Somewhere along the way, you decided that you had to do it all, be the strong one, the steady one, the one who always has the answers. And yet your body, your wise, weary body, keeps reminding you you were never meant to carry this alone. The chosen often feel like they don't belong, and in that aloneness, they become overly responsible. They feel like if they don't hold the world together, it will collapse. But what collapses first is them, their health, their joy, their sense of self. And still they hesitate to ask for help because they've been taught that needing support is weakness. Let's break that lie. Asking for help is sacred. Reaching for connection is strength. Saying, "I can't hold this anymore" is not failure, it is wisdom. Even the divine asks for vessels. Even the stars need the night to shine. You are not here to be everyone's answer. You are here to be true, and truth sometimes means breaking down. It means letting others witness your healing, not just your helping. You don't have to do this alone. There are others like you, quiet, powerful souls scattered across the world. And when you speak your truth, even in pain, they will hear you, they will find you. You are not broken, you are just not built for isolation. You were created for sacred community, and it begins when you stop pretending you don't need one. The chosen get sick so they can wake the world. You may never fully understand why your journey had to include illness, fatigue, or chronic pain, but perhaps, just perhaps, your suffering was not meaningless. Perhaps it was a summons, a way to stop you in your tracks so that you could finally hear the deeper call, the call to remember, the call to awaken, the call to lead, not from perfection, but from presence. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more truth. More souls who have walked through the fire and emerged not untouched, but transformed. Chosen ones don't heal because they are invincible. They heal because they finally turn inward. They stop betraying themselves for belonging. They stop silencing their soul for acceptance. And in doing so, they become guides, living, breathing evidence that the wound is not the end. It is the beginning of wisdom. So if you are walking through illness now, know this: your body is not betraying you. It is awakening you. Your pain is not exile, it is initiation. You are not being punished. You are being prepared, and the world needs what you're becoming. Type 77 in the comments if you know this message was for you, not just to be seen, but to declare, "I am ready to stop carrying what was never mine. I am ready to listen. I am ready to heal." And if this message has touched you, I invite you to leave a super thanks. Your light helps keep this light burning, for you, for me, for all the others still walking in silent pain. This is not where it ends. This is where you begin.